day. My name is Zikona Miso. The Vumelana Advisory Fund hosted a dialogue earlier today on the highly emotive and contested issue of land reform in South Africa. The gathering was convened right here in Johannesburg, and the discussion was centered on what could happen to land reform in the next 15 years. To give us an account of this morning's dialogue, we join now on the line by Mr. Mazwi Mkhulisi, who's a program manager for Vumelana Advisory Fund. Good day, Mr. Mkhulisi, and thank you for joining us.
Zikona, good afternoon.
Now, how was this morning's dialogue? Why was it convened, and would you say it was a success?
Zikona, let me start by indicating that Vumelana Advisory Fund is an non-governmental organization. It's a public benefits organization that was set up by the Business Trust, which is itself a partnership between government and business. So what we do is that we provide advisory services to structure partnerships in land reform between those communities that have benefited from the land transfer and investors, in terms of private investors. So the roundtable discussion that we had today was in respect of a recent program that we have been able to structure, where we facilitated a session that involved a range of players in the land reform space, where we collectively were asking ourselves what could be the future of South Africa and land reform in South Africa, i.e., where could land reform be in the next 15 years.
Now, the issue of land reform is undoubtedly one that really has tongues wagging across the country, and it's quite a hot topic at the moment. Now, having convened this meeting, many believe that the land issue is a ticking time bomb if not dealt with accordingly. What's your take on this prediction, and what were some of the things that came out of this morning's deliberations?
Correct. So, indeed, our own experience working in this space now for 4.5 years has essentially indicated that there are critical challenges facing land reform, in the sense that in the first aspect, the transfer of land to those that have claimed land is very slow, on the one hand. On the other hand, you find that even where land has been transferred, the productivity or the ability for people to make land work for them is actually is not successful. Now, these are the issues that then create a whole lot of tensions, and there's quite a number of voices that are coming across, all spectrum in society, with offering various suggestions about what should happen and so forth. So the scenarios, the transformative scenario planning exercise that we convened was meant to create a general platform that can be used by South Africans to structure a viable debate about what should happen, and therefore allow people to have a creative space to find solutions of what can happen to make land reform a success. So what we had today was we had representatives of the media, written media and so forth, where we wanted to share the stories that have come up as part of that land reform scenario exercise. What came up out of the engagement is that, one, there's a very clear acknowledgement that there is just too much in terms of policy and law that is confusing the layman out there, and that is also disincentivizing the private investors from coming in. The critical issue that was also highlighted is that the lack of progress in land reform has to do primarily with lack of implementation. There's enough laws, there's enough policies out there. In fact, what is there out there at the moment is confusing a whole lot of people. So there's also at the same time an acceptance that what can really help us to speed up and accelerate land reform a program in South Africa is about simplifying the process, so that an investor can find a very easy guideline from the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform in terms of where the opportunities for them to partner with those communities that own land. The communities also need to understand that they can be assisted in terms of identifying and partnering with investors that have goodwill in mediated agreements, and that's where Vumelana plays that role.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the participation, I mean, you mentioned that there were members of the media there as part of the dialogue, but how was it looking in terms of the generation palette? Did you have young people there as well? How was that looking?
So the media roundtable that we had today was specifically dedicated at taking the conversation to the media houses. We will definitely have other platforms because we have to roll out these scenarios, which are basically about 4 stories about what could happen to land reform in South Africa over the next 15 years. So today was just one of a number of platforms that we are using to send out the message. What is important is that we also had social network media representatives in the audience, and our belief is that those channels will be quite effective in terms of spreading the message, especially to the young people who we know as big users of social media.
And just before we let you go, Mr. Mkhulisi, for people who want to get in on the conversation and find out when you do have, those next sessions, is there a web page that they can go on very briefly?
Okay. So people can email us at info@vumelana.org.za. So Vumelana, just to spell it, is VUMELANA, Vumelana. It's to agreeing as Zulu. They can also go on our website, which is www.vumelana.org.za. They can also reach us on 011-612-2000.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and definitely I think for maybe one of the other sessions we'll also love to be part of that and actually get in on the conversation around this very pertinent issue. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Mkhulisi.
My pleasure, Khanna. Thank you.
That was Mazwi Mkhulisi. He is the program manager for Vumelana Advisory Fund, and of course a very emotive and highly contested issue around land reform here in South Africa. If you are keen on that conversation and of course finding out where they'll be having their next sessions, you can send an email to info@vumelana.org.za or visit their webpage www.vumelana.org.za, or you can send a message to 011-612-2000. It's 20 minutes before the top of the hour. You're still tuned into Africa Midday. Stay with us.
Always missing your favorite Channel Africa radio shows? Well, now you don't have to. We have a free catch-up service that allows you to listen to Channel Africa radio content from your cell phone, computer or tablet at your convenience. Visit